It's the interview series. The interview series. It's the interview series. The interview series. It's the interview series. The interview series.
All right, welcome to another episode of the interview series. Excited to talk to Anthony Marguleas remind me what your brokerage is called again, my friend?
It's called Amalfi Estates, like the Amalfi Coast in Italy. So
I love that. I love that. From Amalfi Estates is great. Really excited to talk to you about this. And we were just talking a little bit briefly before I hit the record button. One thing you don't know is I'm looking to talk to agents from around the country, right? I want to say in every city, but definitely every state. I've already talked to someone from Tallahassee, Idaho, Oregon, and just trying to just build, connections and just really seeing what the local market is out in different locations. I have investor clients, so you never know where that's going to take you. But yeah, you're the next up, right? So originally, I think I saw your information in Dallas, and then I did a deeper dive, and I saw that you actually you span over Dallas and LA. So you're in California essentially a little bit. I don't know, right now you might be in Dallas where you're
yeah,
at.
no, I'm in LA. Yeah, most of our business, we've been in LA for 30 years. So
Okay.
yeah. We're based in Pacific Palisades, so a little more of a luxury market between Santa Monica and Malibu. So we do a little more higher end properties.
Okay.
So at least most people think they're higher end. So yeah.
I'm sure if I saw the price points, I would say that's definitely higher end. Love it. But yeah, so I mean, tell me about, I know a majority, if not all of your career has been in real estate. And I typically like to ask, hey, take me through who Anthony was prior to real estate. So that might go back a little further a ways, 30 years. But take us from the beginning, right? Like, how was it? How was real estate 30 years ago? How did you get to this point now? And just really want to get your background. And I know a lot of your background is like, the business itself, but I know the business has changed. So really want to get to know you, and then kind of shine a light on your story, man. I know you have a good story. So I'd love to hear it.
Yeah. So I started 30 years ago. Time has gone by quickly. So we've been based, like I said, in the Palisades. We have a team of 15 agents. We didn't start that way, and we've just been gradually increasing our average price point. Are a lot of your listeners, are they agents, or are they consumers, or both?
A little bit of both, right? Consumers, agents, although like I said, a little bit of both. I mean, some of the stuff I do create shorts, put on Instagram, TikTok, so you never know. All the above.
So yeah, we've been fortunate. We've helped 1,400 families buy and sell properties. They've sold $2 billion in real estate. We were selected as the top 10 teams in the country out of 1.6 million agents. So we've been fortunate, and we give 10% of our commission to charity. So we've been fortunate with that. We've helped 50,000 families through our charitable initiative. We have 6 charity partners that we let our clients pick from, one for each category. So we have one for kids, and one for pets, and one for health, and one for the environment, and one for homelessness. And the local one is Homeboy Industries. And we've been fortunate. Our small team has given $2.3 million just in the last 7 years.
Wow.
So it's really a big part of our giving back to the community and making a difference in the world. And we're fortunate that we have the opportunity to be able to do that.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So I mean, I gotta ask, right? Like, how was real estate 30 years ago? And what's the biggest difference, would you say?
Yeah. So, when I started, I didn't have a mentor. I kind of self-taught myself a lot. So at the time, you could start a real estate company without experience. So my background, I had started a real estate development company, and then started a mortgage company, and then started the residential brokerage. So you didn't have the internet. I mean, this is pre-internet days. You had like a book where you find properties. You had the old Thomas guide where it was all marked up, trying to figure out, where you're going. You guys got it easy now, Jeff, man. It's like Waze and like, Google Maps, man. It's like night and day. So much easier. So much easier. The old days, we had to find properties for our clients. That was really our role. And our role has shifted in the last 10 to 15 years. Agent's job is not finding the property for their client. A lot of time the client will call you up and say, hey, I saw this property online. Can you get me in? So now our role is shifted more from just locating a property to negotiating, to being an advisory, to bringing inspections, to all the nuances that come along with buying and selling, and understanding, where they can get a good deal. So it's definitely changed a lot.
Yeah, yeah, I know that. I can imagine the change there. And yeah, I know we definitely have it easy. We're a little spoiled here. But hopefully, 30 years from now, we can be like, okay, we can tell the same people 30, that are starting 30
Yeah,
years
we're
from
still
now.
doing the same. Yeah, they're always going to need real estate agents. I mean, as much as the internet's like, look, we're going to get rid of travel agents and we're going to get rid of like a lot of industries. Real estate, they're always going to need someone to help people buy the largest investment of their life. It's going to be really, really, it's going to be integral and an integral part. So, but yeah, it's a great business. It's a lot of fun and it's very rewarding. You get really close with people, as you know. You spend a lot of time with them,
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
and get to know them really well. So.
Yeah. And so like at the beginning, obviously you didn't start out in LA and Dallas and you didn't have a ton of a 15-person team and so you started out in Dallas or sorry, started out in
No,
LA?
we started LA. Dallas was only open 6 months ago.
Oh
One of our
wow.
top agents was relocating there, and it was a perfect choice because a lot of people from California have been relocating to Texas
Mhm.
for a variety of reasons. The affordability and everything else. So wanting to raise their family there. So it was a natural progression that we'd open up a Dallas office. So now we have a few agents in our Dallas office, and we get to visit there in the summer when it's 90-degree humidity,
Yeah.
and 90-degree weather.
Yeah.
So not like your Windsor weather. Your Windsor weather's perfect. A little
Yeah.
warm in the summer, but I know
Yeah.
you have some great wineries around you.
Oh, we have some
So
great wineries. Yeah, it's just it's nice here. But I've been to Dallas, I think twice. Never in the summer, but I do hear that it's really humid out. It gets humid? I'm assuming it's Texas. It's hot.
yeah, oh, yeah. Dallas gets warm.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but
I think I was there in like February, so it wasn't. I won't say it wasn't the hottest time.
and different price points. I mean, every market's different, right? So, the price points there are substantially less than our price points here. But things move quicker, so you're doing more transactions. So,
Got it. And so you said you have 15, people on your team.
yeah,
Okay. And
yeah.
how many are in Dallas and how many are in LA?
So there's 12 in LA and 3 in Dallas.
Okay. And do you have any goals to expand any further than that?
We're thinking about Lake Tahoe. I have a house in Tahoe, so thinking about possibly opening up an office up there. So usually spend the summers up in Tahoe. So
Got it.
yeah,
What about investment opportunities for, I would say in both areas, I would say that I would
not
assume,
in LA. LA's
yeah,
tough. Dallas, you get some good investment opportunities.
yeah, LA's
LA
tough.
is too expensive. It's hard to make. It's a much harder. There's the thing called the mansion tax. I don't know if you've heard about that in Northern California, but there's an additional transfer tax that got put on April 1st, where they charge 4% for homes in the city of LA between $5 million and $10 million. So
Oh,
it's an additional transfer tax on the total amount. And then homes over $10 million, it's 5.5%. And it's decimated our luxury market. Our luxury market transaction wise has dropped about 60 to 70% across the board. Bel Air, Brentwood, Beverly Hills has their own taxes, but it's not part of City of LA. Venice is City of LA, Pacific Palisades is City of LA. So 60 to 70% drop in the number of transactions because of that mansion tax. So yeah, it's definitely a little bit of a challenge for sure. So.
wow, that's definitely unique, I think, to that area for sure.
Well, they haven't a lot of cities and a lot of states are implementing it. I think San Jose has a transfer tax. I think San Francisco, I want to say. A lot of areas are doing it as a way to generate income for affordable housing and to help homelessness. So tax the wealthy, right? That's kind of what they do, but they don't understand it. Less transactions happen, and then they collect less property taxes. They have less capital gains. There's less builders aren't going to build, right? Because they can't make the money. And so then all these subcontractors don't have jobs. And then it puts the escrow companies out of business, mortgage companies, title companies, real estate agents. So all the revenue they were generating for the economy is getting curtailed because of this extra tax, which is substantial. I mean, you sell a home for $4,999,000, you pay zero additional tax, and you sell it for $5 million, $1 more, and you pay $200,000 in transfer tax. It's a
Wow.
lot of money, Jeff.
Yeah, that
So,
is.
yeah, it's a lot.
What
So,
about like short-term rentals? What's it like down there? I know how short-term rentals are just universally, but every city, every state has its own ordinances and things like that. So
yeah,
let's
yeah,
get
they're trying to stop the short term, making it minimum 30 days.
okay.
So the VRBOs and the Airbnbs, where you could rent it out a lot, they've definitely started curtailing it. I know they did that in New York, quite a bit, and that changed the landscape of properties. Palm Springs, I know, is definitely cracked down on the short-term rentals. So a lot of them have now minimum 30 days at a time. And then City of LA just used to have 3 months security deposit for an unfurnished rental and 2 months security deposit for so 3 months for furnished and 2 months for unfurnished. And they changed it to 1 month now for either because of affordability. So that's definitely going to affect the rental market. And we've seen a ton of rentals hit the market. So it's all supply and demand. A lot of people who can't sell their properties for what they want, Jeff, they're putting it on for lease. So normally there's half as many homes on for lease than there are for sale. Now there's 50% more properties on for lease in Los Angeles and the West Side than there are for sale. So because of that, the prices of rentals in the higher end markets in the West Side of Los Angeles has dropped about 10 to 15% over the last 12 months because of that.
Because they
So
increase it
about a
because
third of our business is rentals. So we do a decent number of rentals.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
But the rental prices are going down because because supply is going.
Inventory, too much inventory, yeah. And
Mhm.
the only reason sale prices have not dropped more in this current recession is because inventory is so low.
Yeah,
If the last recession, there was 3 times the number of properties, and because supply and demand, that caused property values to drop anywhere from 20 to 40%, like Vegas and Riverside County and San Bernardino County in Southern California. Those are two neighborhoods, Riverside and San Bernardino. They dropped 30 and 40% like Vegas did because there was so much inventory on the market. But now with this current recession, inventory levels are really low because people locked in 2.5%, 3% interest rates. They don't want to go move that into a 7 or 7.5. So they're not putting their properties on the market, unfortunately.
yeah. So Dallas is the same way for the Airbnbs or short-term rentals as well.
Dallas is a little better. No, Dallas, that's why a lot of people they moved to Dallas because there's no rules. You got open carry. I mean, like not just drinking, I'm talking guns. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
for
like
sure.
a different animal there, man.
Yeah,
That's
definitely. I figured they're a little more
why people
lenient
like it.
there. Say it again.
That's why people like it.
Yeah, way more lenient over there in Texas for sure. Yeah, that's true. I was saying if all the California people move to Texas though, eventually it's gonna be California and Texas. I don't know how many people need to move to make that happen, but I guess Texas has its own rules that kind of change the dynamic of how people live their lives in it.
It's caused prices to go up quite a bit.
Mhm.
And I know a lot of locals in every market. A lot of people, the biggest feeder markets for California are typically the neighboring states. So you got Nevada, you got Utah, and a lot of them, right? So you'll see the appreciation go up quite a bit in all the neighboring states. Yeah, a lot more than other states because if you're selling a house for whatever $1 million or 2 million in LA, and you can go pay all cash for a property for half that in another area, it's going to cause the prices to go up on that in that other market. So,
State by state, never really thought about that. That makes sense.
yeah.
A little bit, I know I sent you a list of questions. Sometimes I just go off on a tangent and just have a conversation.
And I like tangents. Yeah.
Yeah. What's your favorite part of the job? I mean, 30 years, I have to ask, like, I don't think I've ever asked that to anyone, but
Yeah.
what
I
do
mean,
you do?
I talk to agents all the time. I've been doing real estate 3, 4, or 5 years, and they're like, "Oh, I'm burnt out," and I'm like, "Burnt out, man? I love what I do. Like, this is the
Yeah.
best job in the world." And so what I love doing is mentoring our team so they have financially rewarding lives and to reach their financial goals, whatever that may be. Maybe it's paying off their mortgage, maybe it's buying a vacation home, maybe it's paying off their parents' mortgage, going on a trip. And then the second is to give as much as we can to charity. And those are my two big whys. So yeah, I love doing those things, and I'll keep doing it, and we're starting to coach through Side, we're both affiliated with,
Yeah.
starting to do coaching with that. So that's exciting.
That's
There's
awesome.
4,000 agents at Side, and there's 6 coaches. So they're going to be hiring more coaches. So it'll be fun.
That's awesome. I mean, I guess we can talk about this offline because it's more side affiliated, but what's that coaching program look like? Is it like people sign up for the coach that they want, or they get assigned one, or how's that work?
Yeah, it's a good question. So they're offering group classes that start April 1st. It's right now open to the Side community, but they may open it up outside of Side. So they're doing group classes, and they haven't set the pricing yet. The pricing will be set in a few weeks, where there's 6-week classes bi-weekly. So 1 quarter, basically, every other week, a class. And then there's the opportunity to do private coaching, one-on-one with the coach, and then they'll set a higher price, point for that as well. So, hopefully all the mistakes I've learned, Jeff, over 30 years, I can navigate people. I've been in 4 recessions, so
Wow.
I definitely have seen the ups and downs from a lot of real estate markets, but I'm a big believer in real estate. I think you can get a lot of wealth, and it's unfortunate California 3 years ago became a renter state, meaning more people rent than they do own because property values got so expensive. And so a lot of the blue collar workers, the teachers and the nurses, can't afford houses and they can't retire. And so, it's a big problem. It's a big problem. So
Yeah. No, that's so true. I was also thinking about back when you just said that some of the people on your team or just in general when you mentor, like, oh, I'm burnt out. Like, why do you think agents get burnt out?
it's all attitude, right? I mean, if you love what you do, you're never working a day in your life,
Mhm.
right? So whatever that is, and if there's a part of your job, whether it's real estate or not real estate, that you don't like, you need to sub that part out to a junior person or an assistant and do what you love. If you love working with people, you love negotiating, or you love contracts, just do what you love to do, and your life will be amazing. I never thought I'd be having this amazing life that I have now. I have 4 kids. 2 of my kids are now working for me. So I'm
Wow.
pretty excited about that. I got a 27-year-old and a 24-year-old, or sorry, 23-year-old and 27, both working for me. So that's kind of a second generation business now. It's kind of exciting. So
I have to say, you don't look like you have a 27-year-old though. You don't.
flattery will get you everywhere, Jeff. Come on.
I'm being serious. I'm not
I
even
got to
trying
refer you some business now in Windsor.
to.
Everyone hire Jeff for
Right.
Windsor.
Right. Everyone's going to switch from the audio version to the video version just to see what I'm talking.
Do you get like a case of wine for each closing? Like, what do you do there in Windsor?
Yes, I take care of my clients for sure. I definitely have some stuff. Wine is definitely where to go. People don't turn that down. It's also decorative if people that don't drink, right? So the bottle
Yeah.
of wine, but no, I think that's right about burnout. You making sure that you love it. I think also there's something about um, finding out what you don't like because you're just kind of sitting in the suck. So even if it does suck for a little bit, I think because you're 30 years in the game, right? Someone like me, 2.5, 2 years in the game, I think you have to kind of still go through it. Would you agree, or would you say early and often find out what you don't like, and then or would you say
I mean,
sitting.
it's good.
Wow.
You need to know, right? It's good
Yeah.
to know all the aspects of the business, right? Know the marketing and know negotiating and know the MLS and know stats and data. You need to, it's good to know it 100%. But once you realize what you're really good at, just pour all your energy into that. If you love people and you just want to meet as many people as possible, just,
Mhm.
go that route. And a lot of people, we have teams under teams on our team. So Chad Singer has opened up the Dallas office. He has a team in LA and he has a team in Dallas. So, I think we're all entrepreneurs, right? What we all do, it's like you get an assistant, then you get a buyer's agent, and usually you're going to incorporate, so you pay less taxes. But we're all entrepreneurs. So once real estate agents realize they're entrepreneurs, and they also have to realize we're in the lead generation business.
Mhm.
So a lot of times agents like, well, I like real estate because I like people. I'm like, well, that's not going to get you anywhere. No offense,
Yeah.
but you're in the lead generation business. You can be the best agent in the world. If you don't have any clients, you're not going to sell anything. And I know conversely, I know some agents that aren't very good at all, but yet they just have connections. And maybe their brother is a estate planning attorney or a divorce attorney or a business manager. And they feed a lot of them business, but they're not good at what they do.
Yeah.
But it's really almost who you know. And, like I said, we're in the lead generation business. So it's all about where you're going to get your business from.
Every day, I always say that every day you wake up unemployed. You gotta figure it out. Who you talking to, someone new every single day.
Right. And another saying we always say is you're only good as your last sale. You can
Mhm.
have the best sale of your career, feel like cloud nine, and then the next day, okay, how am I paying my bills?
Exactly. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the whole line in the jungle thing. Wake up and where am I gonna find it, kill it, drag it back, eat it, wake up the next day, do it again. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where'd you get the name
I don't
from?
know if you're saying that to any vegans, because that won't go
That's
over very well. Yeah.
that's a great point.
On it, you kill it. I mean, come on. Like I could be vegan, right?
That's true. Or you can
I'm
go
not,
to
but
you can go to your nearest farm and pluck out a cucumber and do what you got to do there too. I love it. I was going to ask. I think you might have alluded to it, but I don't know if it's for sure. But how'd you come up with the name of your brokerage?
so it was originally called AM Realty, which were my initials, and I had this really cheesy sunset that I drew. And then we rebranded it about 8 years into it to Amalfi Estates. The biggest street in the Palisades is Amalfi Drive.
Mm,
And a lot of the streets in one area, the Palisades, the most expensive area called the Riviera, is named after streets in the Italian Riviera. So you got Corsica and Capri and Amalfi, and more celebrities live on Amalfi Drive. So I took the initials AM, my initials, and I thought, well, we'll call it Amalfi Estates. And
wow.
that's how we got the name. Yeah.
I'm just going to
So,
rapid fire a few questions here for you. What
yeah. Go.
if you were to go back in time and tell yourself on day one and give yourself any advice? What would that be about real estate, about your career, knowing what
I
you're doing?
mean, I think buy real estate as soon as possible. I mean, there's always that time when you're like, do I want to step in? I've had so many opportunities to buy real estate and get your license as soon as possible. I've been teaching real estate contracts and negotiating at UCLA for 19 years. And one of the things I tell the students is get your license as soon as humanly possible. And then buy real estate as soon as possible as well, because it's the first step of just getting into it. Real estate will always appreciate over the long term. In the short term, yeah, 2008 to 2011, it did drop a little bit, but it always appreciates, over time. So just getting into it, buying real estate, trusting in real estate, and eventually after 30 years, you have a free and clear property, and then taking some of the proceeds and investing in another property. And if you can't buy that expensive one, buy a condo. If you can't buy a condo, buy in a different neighborhood, different state where it's more affordable. You can buy properties for $50,000 to $100,000 in other states.
Mhm.
So just start somewhere, buy real estate. That's what I would say. Regarding mistakes I've made, those are part of you. I would never want to give those up. The best mistakes are the best learning lessons. I really, really believe it. And as real estate agents, we're always comparing ourselves. And I heard from this one real estate podcast, they said, don't compare your chapter 2 to someone else's chapter 6. And don't always want to take the elevator. You have to take the stairs to get to where you are in your career. I mean, people look at us and, we do pretty well. 2021, our small team did close to 500 million in sales. So, the reality is people look at that and go, wow, well, I want that. Or, I've sold properties upwards we sold the Hearst Estate, which was a $63 million property. It was the most expensive home to ever sell in the country. And people look at that and they're like, well, I want that. I'm like, you're in real estate 3 years. Like, what do you mean you want that? Like, it takes time to get there.
Yes.
So take the stairs. Don't compare yourself to someone else in a different area of their business. And, what I love to do is an accomplishments page. So I've been doing this for 25 years. I write down everything small and large, business and personal, and it may be like I got my first listing, or maybe I just got my first $1 million listing, or I just represented my first 1031 exchange, or I just did whatever. I hired my first assistant, or I just lost some weight, or I just traveled somewhere. And you write the notes. And anytime you're down, you look at your accomplishment page and you go, wow, I've really come a long way, because it's so easy to beat ourselves up and go, 2021, when you got in, was the best year in real estate in 100 years. 100 years. Highest number of transactions, highest annual appreciation, highest dollar volume of home sales, lowest days on market, lowest interest rates in history. So normally in a person's 30-year career, you see one of those happen. All 5 happened in 1 year. So, and then 2023 was probably one of the worst years. Actually, 2008 or 9 was probably worse. But my point, in the last 15 years, 2023 was challenging because there's less transactions. So just to know that it comes in waves, and provide valuable service to your clients, and keep that accomplishment page, I think is really, really helpful. At least it was helpful for me. So
Dropping knowledge out here, Anthony. I love it.
I'm once in a while.
I highly doubt that. You sound like someone that
Not just a pretty face, Jeff. People say that. They say that. You're
I love it. I love it. No, I was gonna say I highly doubt that once in a while. I think you're someone that has a lot of gems. I could tell after 30 years you've made this you're pro's pro, and I can really tell, and I appreciate it. It's honestly an honor to talk to you. It's great. Trying to figure out if I had any other questions for you. I had one, but I didn't want you were on a roll. I wanted to let you finish.
I know, I get on rolls. I go on tangents.
I love tangent. Real estate, you kind of do so much on our mind. So I think from an agent perspective, you've given some good insight, and it sounds as though obviously your role right now after 30 years is kind of more mentor or whatnot, but you still you have a wealth of knowledge. So for clients, like for first-time home buyers, or which might be different for what you're going through right now with selling, I'm pretty sure that $63 million home wasn't the first-time home buyer, but for anyone looking to buy a house, for your clients, what's something that you like to tell them, right? I just asked you, what if you can go back in time and tell your old self and give you some advice? What would be some advice that you would give people that are at the beginning of their journey? And yeah, obviously they know what you said, get into real estate early, buy, but like, what does a conversation look like when you sit across the desk from someone?
The 3 best tips are what we recommend to our clients. If they can get 2 of these 3 things, that we're going to advocate and support them purchasing real estate. And the first is you want to buy the least expensive property in the best neighborhood. What happens is people realize, oh, I can't afford that neighborhood, so I'm going to go buy in a B or a C neighborhood, and I'm going to buy a more expensive home that's maybe new construction. Well, you can't add value, you don't have a motivated seller, and you're buying one of the more expensive properties in a neighborhood which won't hold its value as well. So in an ideal world, you want to buy the least expensive property in the best neighborhood, and then it's going to hold its value much better. You want to find a motivated seller. There's many ways to do that. Either 1031 exchange, divorce sale, foreclosure sale. Maybe they have an out-of-area broker. Look for different area codes. You want to find something that stays on market, it's been on a long time, or they started way too high. Those are all motivated sellers. And then the third thing, you want to buy something that you can add value to. Okay, so that can be adding a bedroom, adding an ADU. It can be cosmetic fixes, there's all those things. some things we've done is we've changed the address of a property. If it's on a busy corner like Sunset Boulevard and Amalfi Drive, just by changing the address for $500, we'll add, drum roll, $300,000 of value. Changing the address with a $500 investment will add $300,000 of value for that situation for the Amalfi Drive property, because people aren't going to want to look at a property that has a Sunset Boulevard address. But if the front door, the driveway, or the mailbox is facing the street, you can typically, the street that you want to change it to, you can typically petition the city to change that address. So if you can get 2 of those 3 things I suggested, we advocate buying that property as an investment. So there you go.
Wow.
A lot of intel.
That's really good. I love that. Never would have thought
Yeah.
about changing the address. That's didn't even know you
Those
could do.
are greater ways to add value. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
And then how much, I want to make sure I got the number right. Did you say you sold $500 million as your team last year in 2020?
2021, we did 500 million. Last year was a little light. We did 200 million. So
$100 million. And what are your goals?
it's not about money. Yeah, it's not about money. I mean, look, people get too focused on the money. My 2 big whys are to support our amazing sales partners to reach their financial goals and to give as much as we can to charity. Those are my 2 big, that's what gets me out of bed every morning.
Can I give you a little bit of pushback live on air? Not live.
Yeah,
but...
yeah, give me pushback. I love it. Give it, give it.
So, yeah, I mean, it's not about the money, right? But you make a lot of it, right? So I think
No,
prior
but
to
what I'm saying, no, what I'm getting, okay, well, I don't want to interrupt. Go ahead, finish that.
no, for sure. I know. I think you get what I'm saying here. It's just, it's no disrespect. I'm right there with you. Like, we want to serve your client. You got to put your clients first. It's really not about us. It's about them and what we can do to help guide them through the process. So if you put in money first, you're in the wrong career. I am with you. I guess I'm just saying, I think every agent and every entrepreneur has, goes into their year thinking about, here's what I think we could hit. I guess that's what I meant when I said, do you have a goal? Maybe I'm wrong in that question. I was just curious.
I have a goal that each agent does 20 million in sales. And when I said it's not about the money, look, my houses are almost paid off and my cars are paid off. My 4 kids' colleges are paid off. So how much money do you really need? I don't need a bigger house. I don't need a bigger car. I mean, like I'm nearing 60. So it's not like now I just want to give back. So when I said money isn't as important, that's what I'm alluding to, because I have everything I need materially. I don't need anything more. I have everything I want. So I don't need this. I don't need another house or a bigger this or a bigger that. I don't need that. And so you die with money in your bank account. What good does that do to anyone, right? I'd rather give it to people that can really use it. So, but our goal is 300 million. But it's really the agents doing the 20 million per agent. That's really the goal. So.
Got it. No, that's great. I love it. Any other insight you would want anyone else
Thanks
to
for calling me out on that.
Hey, no, I'm just curious. I had to ask. I think we all have our own goals, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that, right? Because the more money we make, the more people we're trying to help. In my mind, I guess that's how I look at it.
Yeah. I mean, if it was about the money, we wouldn't be giving 2 million to charity, right? We'd be keeping that. But yeah, I think the legacy is just the giving back to the community. I would love it if a lot of other agents could start similar, or mortgage brokers or insurance agents could start similar charitable giving campaigns. It could be time. It doesn't have to be money. Because I think it's what we do is just about giving back to the community, and selling houses. You can't get anything more personal than doing that for the community.
How long have you been doing that as far as giving back? That's the thing. That's
it's about 7.5 years. Yeah.
That's incredible.
So,
that's incredible.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
No,
so what do you think, and I have to ask, when do you think Tahoe's going to be in play?
I need to get a couple local brokers. I started a little prematurely, and I had it on our website, and then I started getting some business, and I was like, wait a minute, I need boots on the ground. I spend all summer there, but I need a couple local Tahoe agents. So if anyone listening wants to join Amalfi in Tahoe, by all means, give me a call. But yeah, we need a couple local people there.
Okay, makes sense, makes sense. Tahoe's a great market, so I mean, do you travel there often?
Want to come up and visit us. I'll be there all summer.
Are you there all summer? You said you have a house out there, huh?
Yeah.
That's awesome. When did you, so now I'm getting into your business, so tell me, you plead the fifth on it if you need, but how many investment properties do you have, if you don't mind me asking that? I only have one.
I don't have nearly this. That's my regret. You asked me what I would have done when I was younger, and that would have been buy more properties. I got a couple. I don't really have much, nothing like astronomical. A lot of people I know have substantially more. I have 4 kids. I put a lot of money back in the business. We enjoy, we took vacations and all that fun stuff. But yeah, my advice to my younger self is I would have bought more real estate. 100%. There's so many like triplexes and fourplexes I could have picked up for a fraction of the cost. The reality, Jeff, no one ever regrets buying real estate. They only regret selling it.
Mhm.
God, if I didn't have to sell that house, you know what it'd be worth today?
Yeah.
So people always regret selling it. They don't regret buying it.
Yeah.
I've never found anyone regretting buying real estate.
Yeah, that's true. What are your thoughts about people saying, "Oh man, well, I mean, this is different. Our market's a little bit different than yours, right? We're not, it's not the 5 to 10 millions, but people that are like, oh, that
We sell $200,000 condos and $500,000 houses.
okay, so
So
you're all over LA.
our business is rentals.
Okay.
Our business is rentals. So, I mean, look, we do all over all different price points, and every market, everyone says their market's different, but between you and I, it's not. They want you to think it's different. That's why they're not prospecting. That's why they're not selling a lot of houses. But the reality is we all have to, we all get dressed the same. We all have to prospect 2 to 3 hours a day. We have to do everything we need to do, to be successful. Door knock, cold calling, and
Mhm.
buying leads, right?
Yeah.
That's what everyone's got to do.
Yeah.
Or getting a network, right? A business network where you're going to get referrals.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all in this that consistent, yeah, you're right. But what would you tell someone that is looking to, okay, I want to buy this, I'm looking for a multi-unit or a duplex, triplex, and the numbers just don't make sense. I mean, you are obviously, I think I know what you're gonna say, but I'm just curious, like, they're looking at a few, but I guess I'm just trying to ask this question because it's like 10 years from now, if the numbers don't make sense. Today, it's fine because they will eventually make
I mean,
sense.
you could just, I don't know if it's under rent control. I don't know if you can get them out and get higher rents. I don't know, what the situation is. You could buy for appreciation and roll the dice that way, or you can buy for cash flow. Those are the 2 options. And the reality is it depends on the down payment too. Any property can cash flow with 50% down, but if you want to put 20 to 25% down, it's going to be a lot harder to cash flow. Plus there's, ADUs, accessory dwelling units have gotten really, really popular. New law in California, you can actually sell ADUs. They've had that in Texas for 7 years. They've had it in Seattle and Oregon. So that's a whole nother game plan. So you always want to do highest and best use of that property. So if you can add ADUs, you can add more development, you can maybe rent out parking spaces. There's always a way to be creative to add more value to the bottom line for that rental property. You just have to figure out what makes it work.
Yeah. Yeah. Got it. Any closing thoughts?
Buy real estate early age. Get your real estate license early.
Love it.
Location, location, location. That's it.
Yeah, no, it's interesting talking to you about it just between me and you, and it's the same thing, right? Typically who's this podcast for? I'm not sure who's gonna find it relevant or, a value, but if you're an agent and you're listening, it's the same thing. You just gotta do the same. No matter what market you're in, I talked to someone from Tallahassee, Idaho, Oregon, we're all doing the same stuff. We're all trying to perform, and it's door knocking, it's cold calling, it's networking, it's prospecting, it's the same thing over and over and over again. And I think the biggest piece is consistency. And that's it, right? And then not giving up after 6 months because it didn't work. Do you have a time? I mean, I don't know what your thought process is on I'm 2 years, it'll be 3 years October, but just still about 2 years. I think there's a stat out there, the first 5 years of any real business, people fail, whether it's real estate or whatnot. Do you have a thought on any of that, or you just like forget the numbers, focus on, the day to
You know what?
day?
There's a lot of limiting beliefs out there.
Mhm.
And those limiting beliefs, kind of the little voice in your head, like I can't sell 20 homes in my market, I can't do luxury. I can't do this, I can't do that. And the reality is you can do whatever you want. These are just little voices in your head. And there's enough success stories online that you can gravitate to. And there's mentors out there. There's people the first year in real estate sold 50 homes. There's people the first year of real estate have done amazing, amazing things. So, there's a lot of voices out there. Real estate's going to have some choppy waters over the next 18 to 24 months. They're predicting 300 to 500,000 agents are going to be leaving the business for a variety of reasons. There's just less homes selling. So 2 years ago, there was 6.2 million homes selling. 2 years ago, or sorry, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, there was 4.2. Last year, there was 6.2, 5.2, 4.2. This year, they're predicting 3.8 million home sales in the country. So imagine you have 1.6 million agents, but yet 50% less homes are selling. There's just not enough mouths to feed. So there will be a lot of people leaving the business, which is more opportunity for the full-time agents and the successful agents. So.
Yeah. This is gonna sound stupid, but I'm gonna say it anyways. I'm gonna ask anyways. I don't care. Where do you get all this data from? Where do you get your information
I
from?
read a lot. So Keeping Current Matters is amazing. KCM, I don't know if you've been on Keeping Current Matters. It comes out the 10th of every month, so it'll be out in 3 days. And they have an amazing, very, very good content. We play it at our office meetings. They have video. They have a lot of great social media slides you can post. And they track every state, so you can compare how different states do. Everything from the median price to the average price to the days on market to mortgage rates. It's really, really extensive. So we love Keeping Current Matters. I love reading Inman News. Inman News has some good stuff.
What's it called?
RIS Media, I like reading. BAM podcast is a really good one. I like BAM. They have some really cutting edge. They go deep dives on the whole NAR lawsuits. So I really read a lot about that. The Real Deal, that's more the high-end market, but Real Deal talks a lot about going on in the luxury space. So just reading as much as I possibly can, so I'm as knowledgeable as I can be.
What was,
So those
sorry,
are
I
good.
don't even
And
remember
then I
this.
read a lot of books.
What was
I
the
read a,
second podcast you said? It was after KCM. I got the band.
it was after there's KCM and there was Inman News.
I can't hear what you're saying.
INMAN, Inman News. They have Inman Luxury Connect. They have conferences. They have an Inman conference and they have an Inman Luxury Connect. They do once or twice a year that are really popular. And Inman has some really good articles about the industry that I really recommend. Some books that I recommend are like The Golden Handoff, fantastic book about buying someone else's book of business. So if an agent is younger in the business like yourself, and you befriend someone who's in their 60s or 70s who's getting out of the business, and there's a whole thing where they will kind of sell their book of business to you, and it's called The Golden Handoff. There's the Millionaire Tribe called the Tribe of Millionaires, and that's a great book. It basically says the people you associate yourself with is how you're going to be successful. So you take your 9 or 10 closest friends, you figure out what their average income is. Most likely that's going to be your average income. If your average income is a lot lower than it needs to be, you probably need to get some new friends. So,
Love it.
there's all these different things. Oz Principle, that's a great book. Talks about not being a victim. So we always like blaming things and blaming people. And if you take responsibility for it, it's a game changer. So that's a great book. I love that one. So I got a whole bunch of them.
Love it. I love it. Solutions. I love it. I can go off on what you just said. I love that. And I was taking notes, which is why I wasn't looking at you, but I love it. And I
Call me after this call. I'm happy to sit down and give you. I only just touched the surface of some of it. So
yeah, and also I'll look into that coaching thing as well. Through side, and potentially touch base with you through there, and obviously outside of here. And I can tell you're a wealth of knowledge, and I probably got 1/10 of 1% of the knowledge that you have in your head. So expect me to reach out. I know your time is valuable, but I appreciate your time today. And I do have to ask one last question though. I swear it's a brief one.
No problem.
Is this your, people are probably tired. Whoever listens to this podcast, great. But I asked this on everyone. I'm pretty sure everyone's like, dude, stop asking that question. But is this your first podcast?
No,
No.
yeah.
Which
Yeah,
one? What other podcasts have you been on?
I've done probably 100 podcasts.
Really?
I get asked to be on podcasts a lot. Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been around a long time. Maybe it's not 100. Maybe I've done 50. That's probably an exaggeration. So
That's still a
I've done
lot.
probably 50 podcasts. So
That's 50 more than anybody's ever said. So I just I had to ask.
well, yeah. I mean, I like learning. I like sharing. So the two go hand in hand.
Yeah, no, I love it. And I appreciate it. You are a wealth of knowledge. I'm going to stay connected with you. So you just got yourself a new best friend. I'll have some shorts for this podcast that I'll probably tag you in the coming weeks. But appreciate your time and thank you so much, my friend.
You're welcome. Take care. Bye.
You as well. Take care.